Many years ago, in the beautiful and serene city of Ikot, there lived a man named Stanley, and he was married to his beautiful wife named Eya, and they are blessed with two beautiful children named Idem and Ekaite. Stanley worked in the bank as a data analyst, consulting for one of the big banks in the country, which came with a fat salary, a car, and a beautiful house located in one of the choicest areas in Ikot. Eya, after youth service, got married to her heartthrob Stanley. And a few years later, they were blessed with their beautiful children. Everything was going on so smooth for Stanley and Eya. 4 years into their marriage, Eya also secured a job in the civil service. Even though the pay was not fantastic, but it was secured and permanent. Stanley was also able to afford vacations for his family and other leisures. Eya was so happy to be married to Stanley. He was the envy of a lot of young women as he was doing so well for himself. Eya counted herself so lucky to be married to Stanley, who was very hardworking, a good husband, and a good father to their children. Eya was so grateful for the drastic change in her family after she got married to Stanley. Stanley, being a good son in law, Eya's parents made sure Eya's parents and siblings were never in lack. One chilly and windy evening, Stanley and Eya sat at the garden in their compound, having a heart to heart talk which centered on their growth as a family. When Stanley got a call from the management of the bank where he worked, his countenance was sad. He looked worried. After the call, Eya tried to know why the sudden sadness on his face. It's nothing, Eya. It's just a minor issue from the office. It will be fixed when I get to the office tomorrow. Stanley responded reassuringly as he forced a smile. 2 days later, Eya sat on her office desk chatting with one of her friends and colleague named Ozo, whose husband was a business mogul. They smiled as they glanced at a magazine which contained beautiful sights of different cities. We are good for family vacations. Eya said to Ozo, I would like to visit the Maldives. Stanley, also happy about my choice this year. That's where we'll be celebrating our marriage anniversary, Eya said excitedly. Well, as for me, Uzo said, my husband and I and our children would be visiting Mauritius. It is a beautiful island in East Africa. We'll make do with that this year. Uzo also responded, smiling. Uzo and Eya, though colleagues and friends at work, had this hidden competition with each other as they always would boast about their spouses' achievements. For Eya, she made sure Stanley always did what she wanted, just to make sure she was measuring up with Ozo, whose husband was a business mogul. Eya just had eyes for fanciful things of life. She just enjoyed the soft life that Stanley's job was able to provide for them. Little did Eya know that she was about to enter a trying phase in her marriage. So a week after, Stanley was at his friend Kali's office. As he walked and sat on one of the sofa in Kali's office, he looked tense and sad. Stanley said to Kali, I'm just so sorry that I'm busting on you this way. Just that I can't wait till weekend, as you promised on the phone. So I had to see you in person. Kali looked up at Stanley with concern on his face. It's fine, Stanley. Know that whatever brought you here this time of the day, knowing the nature of my job, must really be very serious, Ali said teasingly. Bro, I still don't know what to do. I have not been able to tell my wife that my contract with the bank has been stopped since last month. Afraid of how my wife will take it. No, Eya now. I'm not ready for her drama. As you see me now, I'm in the deep blue sea. Don't know what to do, Stanley said sadly, shaking his head in despair. Stanley, I don't know why this is so difficult for you to tell your wife. Your current situation. Eya is entitled to know what is happening. There is no way you can continue to hide this from her. After all, this is marriage. This is life. Marriage is for better, for worse. Even though we all hope and pray for better, for better. Our marriages. But life sometimes happens. Kali responded urgently. See bro, you just have to make up your mind. Urgent with this. So after dinner that night, while their children were fast asleep in their bedroom, Eya was already preparing to go to bed. And Stanley said to Eya, babe, please, I would like to discuss something serious with you. His voice shaky as Eya looked curiously at him. See babe, okay, why even say it? Okay babe, as he fondly called her. Stanley quickly said to Eya, babe, I lost my job, trying to avoid Eya's eyes. Stanley, what did he just say? I hope you are joking, Eya asked. Her eyes narrowed through Eya. I just don't know how to break the news to you. I know this is going to shatter you, but you know, I still have to let you know. I cannot keep hiding such information from you. Eya was shocked, shook her head in disappointment. So, Stanley, did this happen? Eya asked. It's now a month. Stanley, you mean you lost your job over a month now? And you're just telling me, Stanley, why now? This is really bad. What did they say was the reason why they stopped the contract? With worry and pain in her eyes, they only said it because of the new government modalities for banks, so that they no longer need my services. And he continued in a sad tone, oh God, this is serious so now you will not buy the car you promised to buy for me. And the trip to Maldives that we planned for our wedding anniversary. Stanley, you mean you are now jobless? It's like that. Oh, what kind of temptation is this now? Eya just sat down, motionless, lost in thoughts, muttering to herself words that Stanley could not hear. She only shook her head. Stanley had always known that Eya's reaction was not going to be good at all. So he quickly grabbed Eya's hand, looking at her, and promised her, babe, it's going to be fine. Just have to take it easy. This is life. Don't want you to give so much thought to this. Stanley responded in a firm tone. I also wanted to ask you about that our savings. Let me just leave it for tomorrow, as we already have a lot in our hands right now. Stanley said, as he laid on the bed and slept off. Eya sat long that night, troubled, as a lot of thoughts raced her mind. Thoughts about her friend and colleague Uzo. How Uzo was going to look at her when she tells her that she would not be going for the vacation with her husband. And also felt bad about the car she knew was not going to be possible, as Stanley no longer have a job. What was she going to tell her friends? All this bothered Eya. After some hours into the night, Eya forced herself to sleep. She knew she had to resume early at the office the next day. Stanley now does not have a job, so she had to be serious with hers. However, a week later, Stanley walked up to Eya as she was preparing for work that morning. So, babe, I have been wanting to ask, how far with that our money you have been saving for us in your savings account? You know, I had no prior knowledge that my contract would just end like that. I really thank God we still have savings to fall back on, and you still have your job, Stanley said with hope. But to his utter disbelief, Eya responded, Stanley, you see, I don't have the money right now in my account. I had to invest it in this scheme that promised to reward its customers with 50% interest. All know that it's no longer wise to just keep money in the bank whilst it loses its value daily. So I thought it would be better I invested it into that scheme. Eya responded quietly. Wait, oh babe, don't understand. You took such decision without informing me. With all that is happening, with all these Ponzi schemes. Stay, Stanley said desperately, with worry in his voice. I just hope and pray we get our money back as soon as possible. Let this not be one of those Ponzi schemes that have left a lot of people poor and frustrated. Stanley responded in fear. Stanley, calm down now. Why are you shaking like this? Nothing is going to happen. I can attest to it that I saw some of my colleagues who got paid after they invested. Stanley, can you believe this? This is our 6 million naira will make us 9 million naira in 3 months. So please just calm down. I know what I'm doing. We just have to be optimistic. No problems. God help us. Stanley responded, shrugging his shoulders as he walked back to the living room. 2 weeks later, Eya came home, her face wet with tears. Stanley, who was with their children helping them with their homework, quickly went to their bedroom to meet Eya, who hurriedly walked into their bedroom, looking lost, like someone who just saw a ghost. She did not respond to the greeting of their children. Eya, what is it? Why are you crying like this? Stanley asked, concerned. Hence nobody died, so I have to take it easy. Talk to me. As he held Eya's hands, Eya broke out in a loud cry as she looked sadly at Stanley. It's our money, oh. It's gone. Those evil fraudsters, they've disappeared with our money, Eya said, crying bitterly. Stanley felt a pang of pain in his heart. He had always had this fear since Eya told him about her investment with that Ponzi scheme, but he hoped they would not be victim. Oh God, what's all this now? Why is all this happening to me? Eya, you have finished me. This was my last hope. What am I going to do now? Stanley asked in frustration. The next 2 weeks that followed, there was tension between Stanley and Eya. Eya could not forgive herself. So also, Stanley blamed Eya for causing them such loss. One morning as Eya was about leaving for work, he screamed at Stanley, who sat on the sofa pressing his phone. Husbandman, what's all this? This is how you sit all day, seeing your phone. Is this what you are going to do with your life? You're not even ashamed of yourself. Three men go out to hustle for their family. You are here pressing your phone, all in the guise of searching for job, Eya said in anger. Stanley was quiet for some time. He tried to explain to Eya, looked very angry. Babe, what is all this now, this early morning? Okay, first thing, good morning. Have we even talked this morning? Why this outpost? If you doubt me, you can check my phone. I was only checking my email to know if any of those companies I applied to sent me any mail. Stanley responded. Stanley, I'm not going to calm down. I have been the one working myself out to feed us all these months. Why you sit here all day, either watching television or pressing your phone? So just stop justifying yourself. I'm not happy at all, Stanley. I'm not the one hustling for our family. Aya said in frustration. Baby, it's okay now. But I'm trying my best. Stanley said in disappointment. Stanley, your best is not enough. What I need is results. Instead of sitting here and scrolling through your phone. Stanley, I'm tired though. Babe, you know this breaks my heart whenever I see you like this. Remember you are the one that brought us into this mess. If not for that Ponzi scheme we invested our money into, we would have had something to fall back on. I would have started a business while I still search for a job. See, Stanley, I'm not here this morning to banter words with you. Also, not interested in your cock and bull story. Eya responded as she walked out of the living room in anger. Oh God, I cannot believe Eya said this to me. This is not once or twice. This is now regular in our home. I just hope and pray for a miracle. Aya's nagging is becoming too much. I have lost my peace and happiness. What even pains me the most is that she says this in the presence of our kids, not bothered about the emotions of our children. So Stanley quickly walked to the kitchen to do the dishes. However, as months passed, Stanley still could not get a job. He only did some few jobs for his friends who needed his expertise, which he did for a little pay. As months passed, things became more tough for Stanley and Eya. Stanley had to sell off their car so they could pay for their house rent and their children's school fees. Eya made sure Stanley was always on his feet. He was either doing chores or running errands for the house, helping out their children with their homework, and also out hustling for their family. Stanley could not get any job, so he made do with the dry cleaning job he got, which belonged to one of his friends. Eya was at home one evening when her childhood friend, named Maria, visited her house. After they exchanged pleasantries, Eya served her hot pounded yam and edikaikong soup and chilled drink. Maria thanked Eya for the food, so they sat in the living room talking about a lot of things. Maria, I'm so happy to see you. It's really been a long time. So you said you ran into my brother at the mall in Lagos. Yes, so I met Godwin. I was so happy to see him. I asked after you. He told me you're still in Ikot. He gave me your phone number and home address. And I told him I would be visiting Ikot in few weeks' time. So as they were still talking, Maria's countenance suddenly changed. She became sad and moody. Eya, noticing it, quickly asked Maria what the problem was. Eya, I know you don't know. My sister, I'm not a widow with 3 kids to fend for alone. Eh? Maria, what did you just say? Eya exclaimed in surprise and in a sad tone. Maria, I'm so sorry. Please take heart. Nobody told me. So she quickly held Maria by the hand. Eya, my husband lost his job due to the downsizing that happened several months ago at my husband's office. We had lots of loan to pay as we were enrolled in one of the housing scheme. My husband, after he lost his job, could not stand the pressure and he took ill. For some months, we are going from one hospital to another. Eya, it was so tough for me. The little savings we had, we used it to buy medications for my husband's treatment and even went into more debts as our finance could not cover for his medical bills. I pleaded with my husband to take it easy. I made sure I managed the little we had. I advised him to hope and trust God for another job. But you know men and their ego. He was so bitter. His ego would not let him. He said a woman can never feed him. Eya, do you know that sometimes my husband will refuse to eat the food I made for him? Tracked from one office to another, applying for job. He was so stressed, overwhelmed, as his health continued to depreciate. That is it oh. Eya, my husband died due to hypertension and heart attack. There was no kindness, love and support I did not show to my husband, but he refused to listen to me. This was how John left me and our 3 children in this world alone. Eya was shocked to her bones. Her legs felt so weak. Eya spoke kind words to Maria, consoled her for the loss of her husband, as she was so pained for her friend. So when Maria was leaving Eya's place, she said to Eya, I never knew life could be this tough until after John's demise. Eya, you need to see the insults, the ill treatment from my in-laws, the cold nights I spend alone on my bed, having no one to share my pain with. I can't even share it with my children. Eya, I noticed the way you spoke to your husband on the phone whilst we are talking this afternoon. That's so demeaning. I'm not interfering in your marriage, but you are my friend, and I have to tell you the truth. You have to take it easy with your husband. Be kind with your words. Thank you so much for the money you gave me. I really appreciate it. It was past 6 in the evening when Maria left Eya's house. Eya quickly called Stanley on the phone, but he was not taking his call. She quickly prepared dinner, fed the children, and put them to sleep as she sat on the sofa in their living room, her heart racing as she tried Stanley's phone number again, but this time it was switched off. Eya panicked, her palms sweating. She prayed to God and asked him for forgiveness. Her mind went to Maria's words. She quickly made up her mind to turn a new leaf, not to cause pain to Stanley or put him under pressure. For many months now, since Stanley lost his job, she has made their home a living hell for him. However, a few minutes later, their door opened, and it was Stanley. Eya quickly ran to him and hugged him, smiling. Stanley looked at Eya in confusion and surprise. "What is it, babe?" Stanley asked Eya. Can't I welcome my husband again?" Eya said. "Please, let me run you your bath and get you your dinner." As she hurried into their bedroom, Stanley was stunned. This has not happened for many months now. Eya, making dinner for me, running me my bath. My eyes will see good though, Stanley thought to himself as he walked into their bedroom. So Stanley had shower and also had his dinner. And before they retired for the night, Eya said to Stanley, "My husband, please allow me kneel down. Don't ask me to stand up. Please, Stanley, I've been so mean to you. You have been the best husband and father to me and our children. You made sure we had the best and very comfortable life. But you see, I repaid you with evil when the table turned. I was supposed to be there for you, holding your hand, just as the Bible says that two is better than one. But I failed in my own end. I was selfish and lacked understanding. I almost destroyed my home with my own hands. If not for your maturity and calmness, look at the demeaning words and ill treatment I gave to you. When last did you touch me as your wife? When last did I sleep on this bed with you? I just threw out our love away just because you lost your job. These months have made me discover myself, and I'm ready to work on myself. Please, I'm very sorry for disrespecting you. I was just carried away with the insatiable desires that you could not afford for me, as you have always done. Please, you know you are my glory. As a married woman, if anything happens to you, I am naked and vulnerable to this world," Eya said as she cried bitterly. Stanley was broken. He was almost shedding tears. "Eya, it's fine. I hold nothing against you. I understand that you were frustrated. I felt so bad seeing you fend for us, paying the children's school fees, paying the bills, and feeding us. It was so devastating, almost messing up with my mind. But thank God for God's word, which held me up, and I decided to be patient as I prayed for us. I'm so grateful to God for a day like this. God indeed is faithful. You see, this thing that happened to me has made me to know what a lot of families are going through. Marriage is teamwork. With love and support for each other, we can overcome any storm. I just pray finance doesn't separate lots of marriages today. It's really sad what people are going through today. Please, babe, stand up now. Eh? Just like I said, I have nothing against you. Thank you so much, Stanley. You are indeed a good man. God bless you and keep you for me. I just took a lot of things for granted. I miss you so much. As they hugged, "I miss you more, babe," Stanley responded. Eya from that day supported Stanley in prayers and with kind words of encouragement, running the home without complaint or disrespecting Stanley. She always remembered her childhood friend Maria, who was now a widow in her early 30s. So she thanked God she still had Stanley by her side and knew that this was just a phase in their life, which would certainly pass. Stanley continued his dry cleaning business, and months later, he got another big job and was able to give his family a much better and comfortable life, which they've always enjoyed prior to when he lost his job. Eya learned that marriage was not always going to be sweet. It could come with its own challenges, but with the support of each other, no pressure, no hate, and much love and forgiveness, the couple would emerge victorious. Thank you so much for listening to this story till the end. I appreciate you all, and I cannot thank you all enough for your immense support and love. I'm overwhelmed, just like we always do here. I encourage us all to share our thoughts on the moral lessons we have learned from this story. And what do you think about Eya and her attitude towards her husband after he lost his job? Let's continue the discussion in the comment section. Give this story a thumbs up, share with your loved ones and friends. Also, remember to subscribe if you have not subscribed. Till we meet again next time, stay blessed and bye!